Hello students, we have discussed the application of Biot-Savart law yesterday in class, and there one application we have seen, that is if we have any long conducting wire, then what can be the magnetic field at any point due to that wire. So a number of cases we have seen for that case, and some of the numerical problems even I just told you to make you understand it that in more clear way. So today let's discuss the second application of this one. How can you find magnetic field if you have different kind of conductor? So suppose we have a conductor that is a circular current loop, means such kind of loop if we have. So we have a circular loop, and in this circular loop I current that is flowing, entering at this point, and this is leaving at through this point. So as this is a circular loop, simple and we have to calculate magnetic field at this circular loop. If I current is flowing through this loop, then what will be the magnetic field at its center? At O point we have to calculate its magnetic field. So we can calculate it also by using Biot-Savart law. So let's see how can we calculate it by using that particular law here. So first of all, you know that to apply the law we need a current element here. So we can select the current element. So suppose we are just going to select this element as a current element. So this is our DL, and this is position vector R here. I think that is now clear. And you know that the direction of current element, if you will draw it, so this is the direction of current element, means along the tangent of the this circular loop. So if you will draw tangent on this point, this will be will show the direction of this current element DL here. So it is very clear that the angle between this position vector and current element, that is here 90 degree. So first thing here that we have seen, DL is perpendicular to R, that is theta. If you will see, theta is 90 degree. Now we can see what is the value of magnetic field if some current I is flowing through this small element DL here. So the small magnetic field due to this small current element can be written as, we can use here normal form, you can also use it. So this is mu 0.4 pi I dl sine theta, and sine theta value is 90 degree upon r square, the distance between these two points. Suppose this is our point P here. So if you will solve it, then we can obtain, this is mu 0 upon 4 pi, this is I dl, this is upon r square, and this is our dV. Now we have just calculated what is the value of magnetic field due to this small element at this center O. Now we can calculate what will be the value of total magnetic field due to whole of this circular loop. So if you will integrate the equation over the circumference of this circular loop, then we can obtain, obviously if you will expand the DL, then it will provide you the circumference of that circular loop. So we have to integrate this equation to obtain the total magnetic field. So total magnetic field can be obtained if you will integrate it from 0 to 2 pi r, just like this. So just you have to solve this one to find out the value of magnetic field at the center of this current carrying loop here. So let's just solve it. So if you will put the value of B here, so value of B was mu naught upon 4 pi I dl upon r square. So in this section mu 0 I upon 4 pi r square, this is common. So let's take this one outside, and dl, this element is our varying element. Now if we will integrate it, then its integration is obtained, that is 1 into dl, that is L we will see. So this one is 4 pi r square, and its integration will be L, and its limit is 0 to 2 pi r. So let's put its limit here. So mu 0 I upon 4 pi r square, and if we will put limit, upper limit is 2 pi r, lower limit is minus 0. So we will finally obtain here 2 pi r. So pi and r will be cancelled out from here, 2 will be cancelled out, and finally the magnetic field that we will get from here, this will be mu 0 I upon 2r. So this is the answer of our whole detection. Means this is the value of magnetic field at center due to this circular current carrying loop here. So easily by using Biot-Savart law you can calculate what is the value of magnetic field at any point if you have the knowledge of this kind of any current carrying. Clear, I think. So this was the special case actually. If we have to find out at any general point, at any axial point, what will be the magnetic field. Suppose this loop we have, and due to this loop we have to find out at this point what will be the magnetic field. So how can we find out? This was the special case. At the center we have just wanted to calculate. It means if we will draw some axial line that the point, 2 points at which we have to calculate it, and its center just meet that 2 points, so that will provide you the axial line. So how can we calculate magnetic field at the axis of that current carrying loop here? So let's see how can we calculate it, again by using this Biot-Savart law here. So again student, by just I need more space to detect just derive that expression, that's why I am just going to rub it this portion off. Okay, so for that case, first of all let's draw a figure. So we have this current carrying loop, this one we have, and this is the center of the loop, and let the radius of this loop is small a, and now at any point P we have to calculate this magnetic field. So this is the axial line. I just told you, if you will meet this point from the center, then you can see what is the axial line or axis of the loop here. So we have to just find out, due to this whole loop in which I current is flowing, then what will be the value of magnetic field at this point here due to this flow of current here. So again you have to do the same factor, same procedure. You can select a small current element here, and that small current element will provide you to use the Biot-Savart law there. So here the current element that we will choose here, this one is the current element V. So this is our current element DL, and if you will see the direction of DL, then obviously it is along the tangent here. I think that is now clear. So this distance is suppose R, this is our S here, this is our DL here, and if you will draw tangent here at this point, this will show the direction of this current element in the direction of current. So this angle between DL and S, this is now again 90, this is 90 degree. It means that simple, just here I will write DL is perpendicular to S here. So don't be confused by this factor, as this tangent is so is the direction of DL, and this is our point through which we are meeting this current element DL. Means this is the distance of the point from this current element DL, due to which we want to calculate here the magnetic field. Also here in the same way, at this point you can also select current element DL. So here also it will be the same factor. So due to, first of all let's calculate magnetic field due to this factor. After that we will discuss this one also there. Then let's see now what will be the magnetic field due to this small current element. This is very important derivation, so you have to just understand it first. And for that case this is our 90 degree, and this is suppose the angle that I am going to take, this one is phi angle. Now let's see what is the direction of magnetic field here. So for that case, first of all let's calculate what will be the small magnetic field due to this small current element DL. So that magnetic field will be equal to mu 0 upon 4 pi I dl sine theta. Theta is the angle between dl and s. So this one will be sine 90 upon s square. So as sine 90 is 1. So just rub it from here. So this value of magnetic field we will get after solving this one. Then due to these two current elements we can calculate what will be the final magnetic field. Then first let's see in which direction the magnetic field will be here. So to find out the direction of magnetic field in this case, we have to just see by using the thumb rule, and by using that rule if you will see here, so then that time the magnetic field is perpendicular to this position vector r from here. So here it means that sorry for that, it is not perpendicular to r. This should be perpendicular to s. As from here you can see that obviously dB is equal to this one and theta is 90 degree here. So it means that the direction of magnetic field that should be perpendicular to this position vector, that is just we are obtaining to this point P. So it means if you will draw the magnetic field in this direction, so this is the direction of magnetic field that we are getting. So this is our angle 90 degree here, and again in the for this one if you will draw for this current element, then again this is the direction of magnetic field, and this is in the outward direction that you can find out by using right hand thumb rule. Clear? So for that case if you will just find out this one, this is 90 degree. Now we can resolve this one into two part here. So this is our angle, this theta, this will be also theta, and in the same way this one will be also theta angle. So in this way you can write here dB cos theta, its horizontal component here also this is dB cos theta, and in this portion 2 times there dB sin theta and dB sin theta for the perpendicular component of dB here. Clear? So this is the basic resolution of the magnetic field in this way. Now you can see that these two sides or these two horizontal components cancel out each other because they are in opposite direction, but these two components will added up to show the net magnetic field due to these two current elements. So we can now find out what will be the value of magnetic field due to these two current elements. Suppose we are writing that BDL. So 2 times BDL, that will be equal to dB sin theta plus dB sin theta, means 2 times dB sin theta, or in with the only one you could write it. So this is dB sin theta, this value we have. Now if we have to I think dB should be here. Now if we have to find out the total magnetic field due to this current loop at this point P, then we have to integrate it over its circumference again. So let's just solve it, let's just integrate it. So before integrating it, as we can write it, the total magnetic field, that is 0 to 2 pi r this dBl or dB sin theta. Clear? I think sin phi should be here, sorry for that. Here also phi should be here. Yeah, this one. This is also phi, sorry guys for that. This is phi and this is also phi. This one is also phi. So dB sin phi. So let's just find out first of all what is the value of sin phi. After that we will put the value of dB that we have calculated before, and we will utilize the integration law to obtain the total magnetic field here. So in triangle, if you will see this triangle, suppose this is our point O, this is our point Q. So OPQ, if you will see this triangle, then in that case sin phi you can write perpendicular upon this this hypotenuse. So for that case, sin phi can be written as perpendicular upon hypotenuse. This is a by s, and in place of dB now we can write in here, this is mu 0 upon 4 pi into the rest of the term, that is I dl upon s square. Now let's just solve this one and we can find out what is the value of magnetic field here. So just erase this one factor. So let's for the case of this is V is equal to mu 0 upon 4 pi A I upon S cube. This whole factor are common and this is constant factor, so this is 2 pi r and dl. Only this term will be inside, and if you will integrate this term, then obviously this is just like the last term. So for that case we will obtain this is 2 pi r here, and now if you will solve it, then this will be pi will be cancelled out. This is mu 0 a I r upon this is 2 times s cube. Now again we have to take the help of the figure to understand the value of s, and if you will write that here, then we can find out the whole of the magnetic field. So students, up to now we have just calculated the value of V, that is mu 0 I a square upon we have this is 2s cube. So this value we have calculated now up to now, and now as if you will see the figure that I have just rubbed, so in that figure one thing we have here, the current element we have taken, and this is our point P, this is our center O, this is Q, and this was 90 degree, this is our angle phi, this is R, this is S, and this is A. So if you will see this triangle OPQ, in this triangle you can find out what is the value of S here in the terms of known quantity, that is A and R. So as it is hypotenuse, then obviously its value will be equal to A square and plus R square. This value we have. So in the place of S we can write this one value here. So let's just write, so we can write A square plus R square power 3 by 2. So this is the expression that we have obtained up to now in the calculation of just magnetic field due to any current carrying loop at some axial point. So this was our loop, and at this axial point P, the value of magnetic field is obtained. This is the value of magnetic field. Clear? I think now there is no confusion to derive this expression. This is very important expression for your examination, and also if you have any kind of loop, then how can you find out the magnetic field due to that? You can understand by this formula easily. Now let's see again, just like the straight conducting wire, we have also some cases here. So in first of the case, like at center we have calculated magnetic field. So for the center obviously it means this point is lying at O, so here R will become 0. If we are talking at center, what will be the magnetic field due to this current carrying loop? So for that case, if you will put R is equal to 0 in this equation, then V is obtained as mu 0 I A square upon 2 times, this is 0, this is A square power 3 by 2. So A is power square power 3 by 2 means 2 will be cancelled out, and finally we will have A cube here. So this A square will be cancelled out, and if you will solve it again, this is mu 0 I upon 2A. So this expression we have got here, and this expression we have just even derived before this expression for the center, and this is the same expression. So this is the first case for which we can calculate it. Second case we have, suppose this point P is lying very far away from the circular loop. So if this point is very far away, then for that case obviously R will be much greater than A. So if R is much greater than A, then in this expression obviously its square will obviously be much less than the square of R square. So in the comparatively R square we can neglect A square in this equation. So just neglect that. After that the magnetic field for the power point can be calculated as mu 0 I A square upon 2 times a square can be neglected, then this will be r square power 3 by 2 or r cube. So this is our answer for that question. If this point is lying very far away from the our this loop, then that time obviously a can be neglected. Second thing, if suppose we are have a point for this, r becomes equal to a, means if we are keeping this point p at the radius of this loop, means suppose we are keeping this point p, we just want to calculate the magnetic field at a distance equal to radius, means a becomes equal to r. For that case, magnetic field you can also calculate. This will be equal to mu 0 I a square upon 2 times. Here also in place of r, if you will write a square in this equation, so this will be 2a square. So 2a square power 3 by 2. So from here 2 power 3 by 2 we will get, and if you will solve this one, then a cube we will get. So finally, if you will solve this whole of the expression, so this is here 2 power 5 by 2 into a. So this expression we will get after the solution. So these are the special cases that will help you to understand that the magnetic field is changing whenever the position of the point on the axial point, that is also changing. Means if you will see, this is just like a decreasing factor whenever we are going away from the center of the loop here. So this is the basic construction, basic theory about the and application for the Biot-Savart law for particular loop that we have, and how can we find out magnetic field there by the help of that. And suppose in the same expression it is given that we have n number of loops. So for the n number of loops, the magnetic field is just obviously you can apply superposition principle there. Means due to one loop you will calculate magnetic field, due to second loop, due to third loop, and if they are all concentric loops, then obviously magnetic field will be same. So suppose n loops we have, then for that magnetic field can be written as mu naught I, n you will multiply directly n here, and this is 2 times a square plus r square power 3 by 2. In the same manner, if you have you are just applying different cases, their n will also be multiplied. Like for at the center, if n concentric loop we have, and we are just wanted to we just try to calculate the magnetic field at center, then due to that it can be written as mu naught n I upon 2a. So this is the magnetic field at the center due to n loops that we have. So in this way we can find out even magnetic field due to large number of loops that is given to us. Now students, let's solve some numerical problem based on these formulas that we have discussed for the circular loop. So one question we have, that is the magnetic field due to current carrying circular loop of radius 12 centimeter at its center is 0.50 into 10 power minus 4 Tesla. So it is given already. Let's first write the data that is given to us. So for the data it is given, the radius it's given. A is the radius if we are taking. So this point value for the radius is 12 centimeter. It is given to us, and also the magnetic field at center, it is given that its value is 0.50 into 10 to the power minus 4 Tesla. Yeah. Next thing, find the magnetic field due to this loop at a point on the axis at a distance of 5 centimeter from the center. So it is given that suppose we have this loop, and this is its center, this is the radius. At its center, its magnetic field is this, radius is this. Now we have to find out magnetic field at the point P, which is I think 5 centimeter. Yes, this is 5 centimeter away from its center. Then we have to find out what will be the value of magnetic field at this point. Clear? Means we have to find out the axial here. So for that case, first write down the formula for the axial magnetic field and also for the center magnetic field. So B center, suppose BC I am just writing. So this is given by mu 0 I, if I current is flowing through this one. So mu 0 I upon 2A, and B axial, suppose A I am writing, or capital A you can write. This is mu 0 I A square upon 2 times A square plus R square power 3 by 2. So this two things we have. Now from here let's take the ratio of B axial to the B, this one. So BA upon BC, this will be calculated as this one is our BA. Just take here, this is, I am going to take the ratio here. So you can write down mu 0 I upon 2A here. So 2 will be cancelled out from here, and also mu 0 I will be cancelled out. So finally A, that will be multiplied here. So BA divided by BC, we can write A cube upon A square plus R square power 3 by 2. Now we have all the values. Let's write down its value. So we have value for the A, that is 12. In centimeter I am just going to write it. So 12, that is 12 cube we have upon here, this is 12 square plus R square. So 12 square, if you will write this one 144, and R square means here this is the R we have, the distance from the point P from point O or its center, that is known as its this axial distance. So this is 5 centimeter means 25 here, power 3 by 2 we will have. So this is 12 cube upon this 1 will be 169, and you know that 169 is the cube of 13. So we can write in the place of that 13 square into 3 by 2. These two will be cancelled out, means 13 cube that we will get from here. So again let's write down that value. So if we will write that, then BA divided by BC, this is given by 12 cube to the 13 cube. Clear? From here and from here. Now you can easily solve these two, and if you will multiply this center magnetic field to these two, we can find out what will be the final axial magnetic field without any knowledge of the current that we don't have. Clear? So here this value is obtained to be 3.9 into 10 to the power minus 5 Tesla. So just to do the calculation by yourself here, this answer we will get from this expression. So I think this type kind of numerical is very easy, and that is clear. Now let's take some more numericals here. So second question that we have, two identical coils. Just to listen the question. Two identical coils, each of radius R, capital R, and having number of turns capital N, and lying in perpendicular planes such that they have common center. So first thing is given to us, we have two identical coil. Let's just make first the diagram, after that you will be able to just understand it. So this kind of coils we have, one coil it is given to us, and two coils we have, and they are in perpendicular plane, means these two coils will be perpendicular to each other. So we can just make in this way these two, because their center is common. So this common center and these 2 points are perpendicular to each other here now. So and this is the radius of this one, and this is the radius, and it is given that their radius is equal, means R radius we have. Now next question is that here, find the magnetic field at the center of the coil if they carry currents equal to I and root 3I respectively. So we have to find out what will be the magnetic field at this center due to this kind of combination that is given to us. So first in this way, if you will see the direction of magnetic field, so direction of magnetic field for this one coil is in this direction, for this coil is in this direction. So B1 and B2 we have, and if you will take the resultant of two vectors that are perpendicular to each other, then its resultant is in this direction from here. So this is the resultant B that will be in this direction. Then we have to find out what will be the value of resultant here. So value of resultant is easily given by root B1 square plus B2 square from this whole expression. Clear? I think that you know already. How can we find resultant B if we have two components B1 and B2 in this order? Suppose theta angle it is making from there. Clear? I think. So here we have to do only one thing. We have to calculate the value of V1 and V2. So at the center you know that the value that is given by mu 0 Ni upon 2a. This is the formula that we have, and here this is given, the radius is r, it is given n number of turns we have, and the value of current here in first coil that is given I, and value of current in second coil that is root 3I. So here I it is in for the B1 case, this is I current is carrying, or here root 3I current it is carrying. So for this one if you will write the formula, this will be root 2n, in the place of I it will be root 3I because this current is flowing here, upon 2 times R. Now we can write the values here for the magnetic field. So if you will write, then B will be equal to root of B1 square, it means mu 0 square n, or just take them as a common, mu 0 Ni upon 2R whole square plus this one whole square. So here in this case mu 0 Ni upon 2R, this I am taking one at once, and if you will take the root 3 square, then this will be 3. So this portion you are seeing as a common, just take it common. So it will be as after common if you will take, so this will be square, and if you will solve the root, then they will come outside mu naught Ni upon 2R. Inside we have in the place of this 1, in place of this 3. So this is root 4, and root 4 its value will be equal to 2 here, and this 2 will be cancelled out. Then final magnetic field that we will get due to this coaxial coil that we have that are perpendicular in plane. So this value is obtained as like this. So this is our answer for this question. So student, I think such kind of questions for the loop, that is now clear. We can arrange the loop in any manner. So some of the question for the arc and some other loops we will take in next class. So for today let's end the class here. Let's discuss the numerical and the rest of the application and things we will actually discuss in next class, Ampere's law also. So let's just discuss in next class. Thanks students.